Hello again, it's Jen Joseph here, and today what I want us to address in the journals is the idea of isolation and suffering, and what causes suffering when we are in isolation, whether it's voluntary or even mandatory, as it is currently. Now, the idea of isolation is comfortable for some. We have a lot of people who are hermits, but uncomfortable for others. And we want to look at why it's uncomfortable, and I want you to look at why you feel the discomfort. Now, to suffer, we have to add meaning to what is going on. And often we will add something personal as the meaning to a circumstance that is impersonal. We will try to resist something we can't control because it's the only thing that we feel able to do because we don't feel able to take action. Now, what happens here is that if we haven't got purpose, if we haven't got a reason for being or doing, we generally won't create a structure that we can follow and to get value out of each moment. And so the meaning we add to it is, I can't stand this. Why me? It shouldn't be happening. When we have no control over certain things, and particularly when we don't have control, the question of why me makes no sense whatsoever, because obviously it isn't isolated to one individual, it's a group of people. But without purpose to our lives, or without even wanting to implement structure into our lives, therefore looking at a purpose, we have to come back to this suffering idea. Now, originally, suffering was meant to be about toil, about labor, about physical struggle. But now that we're in the modern world where technology takes a lot of that physical workload off us, it's about a mental struggle. So what can we do about it? Well, obviously, the first thing we would say is, start positive thinking, or start affirmations, or do something positive to get motivated. But without purpose, there is no life structure, and our worldview gets really screwed up. Without purpose, there isn't a reason to rise in the mornings. Without purpose, there isn't a reason to do anything other than maybe veg out or abuse ourselves in some ways to escape that meaninglessness of our life. Without purpose, we don't take responsibility. Actually, we don't take responsibility, and so we end up purposeless. Well, I've got a few solutions to assist us at this time that we are struggling with our isolation and trying to get meaning because we're not out at work or we're not socializing with our friends. So the first one is stop and take an audit of the things that you fear, the things that you think, I can't do that, it's too difficult. Stop and take an audit of that. And then what you can then do after you've taken the audit of the things that you fear is to start to work out step by step which ones you need to do and which ones you possibly could do and which ones you're terrified of doing. And so then when you do the ones that you need to do, and then it becomes easier and easier and easier to get through your list until you get to the ones that you would classify as terrifying. And you'll find that actually you can do them because you've built up some degree of resilience within yourself. And you know from the evidence of doing the other things that it's possible to do even more. So for example, right now, you may have letters sitting on your table that you really don't want to address. I know I have. Well, now is an opportunity to actually sit down, look at the contents of the letter, put it aside, go away and do something else. Now, what's going to happen is while you're away doing something else, your mind's going to mull over the content of that letter. Go back to the letter another day, look at it again, and you'll find that you'll start to create solutions or responses that are going to work. And you can then compose your responses or take action in a particular way. Okay, so that's number one. The second one is look at the things that you've been putting off that you've wanted to do and do the same thing again. Start prioritizing them in order of urgency. And you'll find that as you get through that list, the difficult ones then become so much easier, or they don't have meaning anymore and you can just cross them off your list because they're really things that are purposeless. Okay, the third thing you can do is find out what you're actually willing to do on a daily basis, each day. Don't try to frustrate or harangue yourself into doing activities. It just doesn't work. If you try to frustrate yourself into doing something, you'll start to resent it. So find out each day, what am I willing to do? And then start to do those things. For example, I have some decorating to do that I've not been able to do or willing to do. But now that the summer's come and I can open the windows, well, spring anyway, open the windows, I find that I'm now more willing to do this because now I'm not resisting the circumstances that I couldn't change. And because I'm not resisting what I couldn't change, i.e. opening the windows, now that that's possible, it makes it easier for me to get on with that job. And then check in with yourself, the meanings that you're putting to things, the meanings that you're adding to things, and find out really and truly, is that of value to me right now? How does that help me to feel more purposeful, more motivated to take action? The fourth and final one is this. You could become a nihilist, okay? You could do that, and you could say that nothing matters. And that's okay, because if nothing matters, your suffering is pointless. So you can put down the suffering because nothing matters. It doesn't mean that you won't suffer, but it will mean that you can detach from the suffering or the meaning of the suffering. Not a good way to live, but for some people, that's a way to survive. Okay, this is Jen Joseph from Envisage Executive Coaching, releasing your confidence. Goodbye for now. Bye.